I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Good evening, I'm Hoda Kotb. We begin tonight with a very special forecast, and it's looking a little competitive. Margaret?
In New Orleans, we know a thing or two about tracking storms. I've been asked to take a look at who could be a threat this season. So here's a deep dive into what's in store, what's going to happen. The Panthers are going to try to build on their winning 2025 season, but the Saints' fast young offense is going to be like a squall line moving through the Panther defense. Now, a huge heat dome is playing streak. They ain't going to get any relief when they enter Superdome. You know, I almost feel sorry for them. Wait, is it possible to feel sorry for the Falcons? No. A tropical system seems to be forming off the coast of Florida with extreme highs, lows the same day. The winds are strong, but the consistency remains out of the Caribbean, likely never to make landfall. Hey, let's check in with Jim Cantori.
Thanks, Margaret. From what I'm seeing from some of the short-range computers,
heat, scattered hope, and no clear direction on the horizon. The chance of any big change out there, unlikely. Because with Shelby,
Thanks, Margaret. We're taking a look at expected conditions around the Superdome this
up,
fall.
fam?
And right now, conditions are calm, but in just a few months, the entire area is going to be under constant pressure. The biggest threat? Crowd volume. We're expecting sustained noise levels above 100, false starts, and very limited.
Now, looking to activity is high. Locals are warning, stay indoors to avoid danger. However, experts are saying you can't trust the podcasters, declaring them contenders again. Radar clearly shows there is limited passing conditions. Now, looking over at Cincinnati, although it's not like Skyline Chili, it's humid and unsettled. Just expect a weak front. Let's head over to the other side of the pond. For our opponents, there is chaos on the fields. There is no clear path. There's a lingering climate of uncertainty. They'll need a certain je ne sais to turn this around. All right, folks, a lot of noise in the models, a few flakes of real risk, but nothing looks poised to rain on our parade. So keep your umbrellas handy, your eyes on the other.
Facts.
Man, shout out to the Saints getting a New Orleans legend. Shout out to them, man. The Saints getting a Nolan legends, man. Hoda Kotb, Margaret Orr to bring in broadcast for the Who Dat Nation, man. That was pretty clever by the black and gold, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to you guys. Big ups to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Much love. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Y'all do me a service, fam. As you're coming in, please do me a service. Hit the like button if you can. Also, please feel free to give a like and a share as well. If you're not a sub up to the Sports Coma. We up in this thing. Shout out to the Chop Podcast. Much love, my brother. Appreciate you. Much love to OG Jerry, a member for 23 months. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. St. Doug, shout out to you. T-Ray was popping. Big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate you. What's up, Dakari? Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you as well. Much love. Brother Gundam is in this thing. Shout out to you, brother JT as well, man. What's up, Mark in this thing? Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me pretty good, man. I'm on the road in West Texas right now, man. So y'all let me know. I don't know how good my internet is, man, but we're going to kind of just burrow through this thing and kind of get into it, man. So much love. What's up, Desi? Shout out to Desi for being in the building as well, man. Appreciate y'all so much, man. All right, let's get into it, family. Kind of break this thing to talk about on the broadcast. Man, this is a lot going on as they finally released the schedule. You can see on that is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are the first team to come to bat, and we have to take care of business against this squad. To be honest with you, man, we opened the season up on the 13th, week 1. That's going to be an interesting contest. That's an away game. We got to travel to Detroit. That's a bit of difficulty. Opening up the season, that's not a favorite of mine, family, to be opening up the season on the road. But we got 2 interesting road games to start off. And so they're having that high-flying offense. Man, we're going to need that big-time offense to go into it, man. The first Detroit on the horizon, they kind of fell off the cliff week, but you see Coach Campbell bouncing back, trying to get Detroit where they need to be, and they had a pretty decent draft, they had a decent free agency cycle, and they're looking kind of to build on some success. And the first 4 games of the season usually is what I'll be paying attention to, because when we open the season up, usually 3 to 4 games before you really start seeing if the team has a feel for the concepts of what Coach Kellen Moore is implementing. And now last year was a bit difficult because he was installing a total brand new system. We know that was a case last year. We had some issues, guys kind of struggling to figure that out. But this time around, man, listen, you got Tyler Shough there. He excelled in the system. He said on the previous one of the Super Bowl that he intends to master the Saints offense. That's Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees talked about, that he wanted to pretty much master the Saints offense, and he did that shit. And Tyler Shough kind of following along in that line, and that's good because if he does, then we'll have success. Now it's not like he's going to, have issues with weapons. That's what Kellen Moore did. This draft totally a draft which they pound their offense, getting Jordan Tyson to go along with Chris Olave, Devon, as well as Aaron Brown. Ready, you had Oscar Dope with Juwan Johnson and Noah Fant to get a three tight end package going. You also improved the offensive line, the left guard position. You added Edwards to beef up. Then you drafted right guard Jeremiah Wright to compete with Cesar Ruiz, who was also inspired to have a better season. You get all of your offensive linemen start the season on a positive footing. So when you look at that, man, to open that first game up against Detroit, that's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a little rust factor involved in that. We kind of feel that might be the case, but nonetheless, that'll be a pretty solid game, us going up there to Detroit. They ain't the pushovers no more, fam. We know Coach Campbell came from down here. He cut his teeth down in New Orleans as a coach. He's a gritty coach. He knows his team. He's been there now for more than a few years now, and he's looking to kind of reestablish Detroit. So it's not a cold weather game. We'll be able to go up there and play out of the dome, man. We good in the dome, especially away domes. Got to just handle up, right? So what I got in the chat, man, if y'all see it in the poll in the chat, it should be a poll in the chat, fam, for the family members to kind of look at, and y'all tell me, we got this thing fired up where I want to hear from you guys, man. I want you guys think about the schedule. Get your vote in. I think the poll is up. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all see that poll up right there. Hold on, let me make sure here. See if it's up there. Should be a poll in the chat. Y'all see that, man? Y'all put one in the chat if y'all see that poll, fam. All right. Yeah, what's up, Bruce? Bruce says, yeah, okay. So y'all put that, because I got the poll. I want y'all to get y'all in as well to see what y'all, man, it shows. Hold on, let me see if I can find pulled up here, because I did it a different way than I usually do it, and I wanted to make sure I did it right. I have to check that and make sure it's on there. All right, hold on just a second, fam. Let me make sure. While I'm doing that, y'all hit that like button for me. All right, hold on. Let me see if I see it there. Make sure my poll is up. No, I don't see a damn thing up there. Hold on, fam. Hold on. Let me get that poll up right quick. Thought that let's see. Hold on here. How many wins do the Saints this? Y'all just give me just a second. Let me get that poll up here. 3, 4, 7, 6. I'm trying to right. All right, 7 to 9 and 10. Or more. I swear I put it up. I guess it didn't. All right, so listen, fam, here it is right here. There it is. It's up right now for y'all, fam. It's in the poll. I thought I did it right the last time, but there it is. It should be up there now for you guys to see it now. Feel free to chime in on that. And the options right now, before I get back to the schedule, is how many wins do the Saints get this season? 1 to 3 is the first one. 4 to 6 is the second one. 7 to 9 and 10 games or more are the 4 options. Y'all please feel free to vote in the poll. Get y'all words in for. We multi-streaming across several different platforms. By all means, your word in at the poll, and then at the end of the stream, we'll bounce back to the poll and get the word in and see, what you guys think about it. But yes, this is very interesting, man. It's going to be tough going to Detroit, like we mentioned. Not going to be easy going up there trying to knock them all, but nonetheless, we got to do what we got to do. Detroit's a tough team. We opening it up. We don't have the cupcake starting the season. I think we, in terms of the softest schedule in terms of wins and losses from last season. Correct me if I'm wrong, fam. I think we are at where are we at? Seven. We're second in the NFL. I want to say in the softest schedule, but starting off, man, we got to earn it. So the Baltimore, which is cool with me because I'd rather see Baltimore early in the season than to see Baltimore later on in the season when it's cold, this kind of stuff. So getting them early, early in the year, September, we rolling in on the 20th. It's a 12 o'clock game, regular thing going up there. That's going to be an interesting matchup too. That will test the Saints, Achilles heel. We've had overtime in terms of having quarterback that can move around and scramble. In terms of us having, I think last year we did okay with it to a degree toward the back of the year, but that's always been systematically something that we've been dealing with over time, and that was a lock-in because of the older players that we have. Even though they were productive, they were not as athletic as having some of these other guys. So the Saints, how did the Saints defense improve athletically in your estimations? If anything, we knew the all improved. Well, I haven't played a game yet, but in terms of an infusion of youth and talent and speed and everything, you can see that they infused it. Not just one guy. They sent a group of people into the offense, right? We've seen that happen. How about the defense? Did the defense do enough in your estimations? Because we can kind of ask the question now based on the fact that we've reached a place in terms of where we are in the season. We've went through free agency, like the first 2-3 layers of it. We've went through the draft. We went through the undrafted side of things, and we're behind that. And now we get to see this team. We might have a few people in and out, but this is the team, right? This is the 2026-27 New Orleans Saints team, right? So in your estimation, how good is the Saints defense? Did they get better? Based on, and I know it's hard to determine that now based on they haven't played the game, but in your estimation, based on the infusion of talent that the Saints have accrued and brought in free agency and a draft, would say, did they take a step forward or a step back? Let's do some forecasting abilities like Margaret Orr and the rest of them, just in the breakdown, right? What do you guys think about that as well? Because that will test the New Orleans Saints defense. Lamar Jackson will. Now, Lamar's there. He's double threat. He can throw and run the football. He got a chip on his shoulder this year. They add some talent around Lamar Jackson as well that we're going to bring up. Matter of fact, let me do this. Since we're breaking the schedule down, you can't break the schedule down without knowing. We know, like we seeing what our team is doing. Let's look at what the hell their team is doing, right? Let's look at what the hell their team. So we'll bring up the depth chart, the unofficial for the Baltimore Ravens. Then I'm gonna bounce back to the Detroit Lions again and kind of rehash that thing, right? Hold on, let me kind of share this with y'all right quick. Give me just a second. Yeah, give me just a second here. Gotta get that going. All right, just a second. All right. Oh, here, let me get that going here. All right. All righty then. All right, here we go. There it is. It popped right up for you. All right, so anyway, fam, this is what we're dealing with here. This is the Baltimore Ravens team. Lamar Jackson, as you can see, sitting on top of the team. They have Derrick Henry, who's been just a hell of a player. Justice Hills is the complimentary back. Derrick Henry was a brute. I mean, 1,600 yards rushing, still doing it at the high level at the age of 32. He had 16 rushing touchdowns, averages 15 yards rushed. Had 15 rushing touchdowns, rather. the dude is actually a beast. Per rush is ridiculous, and at the age of 32, and he's still very highly productive in what he does. Lamar Jackson is strength, the straw that stirs the drink. A lot of pressure on Lamar to do better. Over 2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. Completion. Plus, he moves around a lot. So you have a very strong running attack when you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together. Zay Flowers is always interesting. Rashid Bateman. And then they added a few. You got Mark Andrews as a really good center. Their offensive line is solid. And then they added some talent on the defense. This is old Saint defensive tackle John Jenkins. He's still playing in the league. Good luck. They brought in Calais Campbell as a backup there to add to people they got going on. We know Raquan Smith is still there. You see a few other guys there. Trey Hendrickson. How about Trey Hendrickson was added to the Baltimore Ravens? Remember, they signed Trey. He comes over and he joins the Baltimore Ravens to give them that extra pass rush that they want to have with that fierce defense. So Kyle Hamilton, very good defensive back. They added Malachi Starks as well. Marlon Humphrey's always been a solid guy. So the Baltimore Ravens, man, as you can see, these guys are going to come in. They're a team that's looking to kind of make a step with Lamar Jackson. Like I said, they'll be playing with a chip on their shoulder. It's going to be fun watching this game as we go. But like I said, I'm not mad at all about this game because I feel like if we go into, which we go into their building early on, right? Early on in the season, we take them on in Baltimore. I think the weather would be more pleasant to deal with all the snow and all that nonsense, right? Because who wants to deal with all that foolishness? Most certainly we don't. So that's something that we got to deal with as well. Now I'm not going to call the wins and losses yet. I'll do that in another show, but I'll just leave that to you guys to kind of fill y'all opinion in the chat. Now let me go to this back to the Detroit Lions to show you what the Lions are looking like as well. Go back to the Lions. Hold on, let me get this on screen for the family members because this will be interesting to see just how the Saints deal with it. There we go. All right. So anyway, here Jared Goff, been good. Teddy Bridgewater's is back up. Our Gibbs, Pacheco, the former chief, he's with him now. Amon-Ra St. Brown has always been just a terrible threat. And what he's been doing, Jameson Williamson is stellar. So Sam Laporte is one of these young, good tight ends. The line is you need a little work, but you can see when they're on Aiden Hutchinson is a beast. And they added some other people to go along with them. Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, Brian Branch, and others. Secondary kind of suspect a little bit there. But like I said, man, they got some issues and things. But these two, these first two matchups, fam, going to be seeing between the opening up the season with the Lions and the Saints in weeks 1 and weeks 2. It's not going to be easy. These are two teams that's looking to be these teams are looking to be playoff teams. So even though we might be having the second softest schedule in the NFL, those first couple of weeks coming out the gate going to be hard hitting. Then of course the Saints come home. We got a matchup against the Detroit Lions. Is the first home game of the regular season. It's on 9/27. It's an afternoon game. We welcome in the Los Angeles Raiders to the party. So we've been traveling to go and see the Raiders for a while. Now the Raiders got to come to us, and that's pretty cool. So at this point, I don't know if it'll be the rookie quarterback Mendoza or if it'll be Kirk Cousins. More than likely, it might be Cousins, and then maybe a month or so later on down the line, Fernando Mendoza might get an opportunity to step in, similar to what we've seen the Shuckinator do, right? But they have a very fun offense, to be honest with you. Ashton Genty, one of the phenomenal young running back. Tucker, Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh is another couple of people that they added to the party. Brock Bowers is one of the really solid, nice tight ends that they have in the league. Michael Meyer is also a very good complement there. Their offensive line is improving as well. So like I said, this is interesting. And they did add some wide receiver help here to kind of help them get going. So this is a bottom feeding team. As you can see, I think the team won. They were fourth in the AFC West last year. So a lot of people not expecting much. This team is being ran by Clint Kubiak. He's the new head coach there. So he'll be bringing that system there, feeling pretty good coming off the championship win last year as an offensive coordinator with Seattle. And then he takes over this team. But you still have Max Crosby there. You got some players on the defensive side of it. They picked up Kobe Dean and Quay Walker to bring some veteran edge and speed to the linebacker side of things. They spent some money, man. The Raiders spent a lot of money this past season, kind of retooling, trying to retool the defense and add pieces to their coming into the arena again to the Caesar Superdome against the New Orleans Saints to week 3 is going to be fun. It's going to be an exciting game. This one, the black and gold should be able to, have some fun with that. Let's just say that after weeks 1 and weeks 2 on the road coming home. Then week 4, we got a Monday night matchup. That's right. Monday night matchup with the Atlanta Falcons. Start the next month off 10-5 7:15 at Central Time. Monday Night Football matchup. Saints face off early against the Falcons. Very interesting that they put us against the Falcons early. Yeah, let me get us back to my regular screen. There we go. Very interesting, fam, that they put us against the Falcons in the 4th game of the season. Very interesting to see that. And it's a Monday night matchup, right? Remember the Falcons, we kind of let it slide last year, that the Falcons beat us. They swept us, right? They swept the black and gold. So it's that we wasn't tripping on that, right? We wasn't tripping on that. We knew that if we had Chris Olave and we had a few more pieces, we would have the Falcons apart. But it's okay. The Falcons were able to sweep the Saints. They got some bragging rights last year. That's fine. But this is where it's all about this time around, baby. Baby, don't you understand? It's a Monday night matchup. It's back to business. Like you put the sign out. This is under new management, baby. We back to business. So the black and gold takes on the Falcons there, man. It's going to be a fun atmosphere in the Caesar Superdome on Monday Night Football, baby. We back in prime time. Loving that, man. So they receiving a league representing, knowing that the Who Dat Nation, that the Saints are back, man. They knowing the energy. They feel it. They feel it. They seen how the Saints moving from an offensive standpoint, going out, getting all these players, the verticality angle. They know must see football. That's why I nicknamed them for this upcoming season Saints, because the offense will blitz you. They're going to blitz the hell out of you. They're going to attack downfield. They're going to run the football. They're going to do these things to make football fun for us in the Who Dat Nation again. And even if some of these games we might lose, fam, it's going to be the Saints. It's just going to be fun football again. It won't be sluggish, sloppy football. Even in the red zone, when early on, that's what those 3 tight end packages is for. Now you have 3 wide receiver style big tight ends. How you gonna stop that? Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant, and now you got Oscar Delp. That's what the 3 tight packages are for. You adding weapons. You got Travis A-Chain Jr., the running back there to kind of help the running back. Just this speed inside, outside, catching the ball the backfield. Ty Chandler, same way. Elvin Kamara going to be there. Hopefully, Kendre Miller could be on his way out, but that's okay. We got other guys like Devin Neal that'll be ready to go. We got a phenomenal offense, plus all of the speed on the wide receiver room and the help on the O-line. Family, we doing. We talking big stuff in the city, man. So love that Monday night matchup there. And then, of course, the NFL then was kind enough to give us a 3rd home game. We went from week 4 matchup to week 5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, listen, fam, a lot of these teams we do not like. We do not like the Falcons, and we really don't like the Vikings. We have an opportunity because for the last several years, we had to travel up to Minnesota to play the Vikings. We finally get the Vikings to come to the Superdome, to the Caesar Superdome, and we get a chance to knock them upside their head as well, because we got to, even though they are fallen and boobish, we still have a debt to pay to the Minnesota Vikings from a history standpoint, just to knock the piss out of them. We can, right? We want to do that. But let me kind of, before I get off into that, let me kind of look at the Falcons right here, because when we play the Falcons, and Michael Penix Jr. probably ain't going to be there. Tua Tagovailoa is probably more than likely going to be the starting quarterback for this team. We got to get early and often, so we'll see. But John Robinson and Brian Robinson, the Robinson boys, no will end up being one of these wide speedster. He brought in to bring in that pretty decent unit, and they get that defense. The defense is supposed to take the next step. AJ Terrell got his brother with him now. They brung him in as Avion Terrell. The kind of that's Mike Hughes or Billy Bowman for that nickel position. I apologize. We got some really whack internet here in West Texas. Man, let me get man. Where do we drop off at? Let me get my stuff on screen again here. All right, hold on just a second. Where do we drop off from? What was the last team that I talked about, fam? Put in the chat. Let me know. What was the last squad I talked about here? All right. I think let's see. What was the last team I talked about with y'all, fam? What's up, Debbie? T Mama, shout out to you. Appreciate y'all. Roll. What's popping, man? What was the last team I told? What's up, Brandon? Shout out to you, Debbie. What's up, fam? Good to see y'all. All right, the Vikings. Okay, cool. Okay, that means the Vikings. Okay, I got you. All right, thank y'all. All right, now let's just bounce to this, man. Kyler Murray, man. Right, we talk about Kyler Murray. Popped up there. Aaron Jones Sr. is also there. Justin Jefferson's always a problem. Jordan Addison's a player. They got Juan Jennings over there now, who signed with them. That's a pretty solid 3 wide receiver look, to be honest with TJ Hawkinson, the big tight end, always steps up and shows up. They have an interesting group of people. Like the running Jones Sr. Is a good back. Justin Jefferson, one of the best guys in the game. Very good tight end there. Offensive line is a pretty decent line. Defense still is. They got some pieces they working with and trying to improve on that side. But like I said, Blake Cashman's a baller. Eric Wilson was his former Saint. Since he left us, they got a few people there, right? So nothing really to talk about. But Kyler Murray comes into the Superdome leading this difficult, and this will be the like we talked about, offense is challenging the Saints. With Justin Jefferson, of course, you could see Bowers from the Raiders and Kyle Pitts and Drake London and others challenging us, our defense as well. But the Vikings, that's what they're going to do. Like, they're going to come in there and try to run that offense and try to throw at the Saints secondary, which guess what happened, family? Secondary is a top 5 unit last year. Can they improve now? Like I said, we don't know who. We got questions from the defensive side of it. We don't know who the star is going to be, the star in the defense and Coach Staley's defense. We don't know who that's going to be, right? We don't know who the star is going to be. We don't know who's going to be that third pass rusher, who that's going to be. We still have to figure that out. Behind, with Chung and Carl Granderson. Granderson's going to have to step up, by the way, fam. We got to put some pressure on Granderson. Sacks last year. That's kind of that can't stand. I mean, you had Chase Young. He missed a whole month worth of football and still came in and lapped Carl Granderson with 10. Come on, Carl Granderson got to step this up, man. Making way much money to be dying last year. We having that, fam. We got to Carl Granderson step the hell up. But like I said, it's the defense. The secondary was pretty good. We still have to find the star. Still have to find that third pass rusher in the defense, and the defense has to, accept the leader, right? A leader has stepped up. We know Caden Ellis got paid a lot of money. Pete Werner is there. He was co-starring with Danny Stutzman. So that man in the middle principle that we talked about before, somebody has to man in the middle, whether it's Caden Ellis or Pete Werner, who's been here longer in this defense continually. Can he be that guy, or is Caden Ellis that guy? You see, all these things have to be answered as well moving forward for our defense. But we know the secondary is done a pretty Kool-Aid McKinstry make a leap to being a really good cornerback. He had his ups and downs. Quincy Riley will be in his sophomore year. We still have some answers for the defense, man, moving forward. Out. But outside that, Minnesota Vikings, man, listen, all I can say about the Minnesota Vikings is that they did a lot of stuff up there business in week number 5, and it'll be pretty cool. So through 5 weeks, how many wins do you guys see based on some of these that we look at? Then after week 5, the Saints travel to the Giants. Remember the last time we played the Giants, we kicked, but better yet, they kick their own teeth in, right? They kicked their own damn teeth in. The Giants did a poor job. They was turning the ball over. They couldn't finish the drives. The Saints was like, okay, you don't want the ball. I kind of just gave the game away. This is a fun game on many levels because the fact that having Tyler Shough what we got here in NO, we know they got some good weapons in New York with Malik Neighbors. They added some more pieces up there recently. To see how that all kicks in New York. So once again, this is also very good, which are two teams that usually have that cold weather aspect. We're getting them out of the way early in the season, which is fine. You see what I'm saying? Getting those snow games, the weather games where, we would, when we hopefully they can position Baltimore and New York Giants earlier in the season where we don't have to be dealing with snow and all this nonsense. And they did. So that's also cool. Also, the next game, week 7 matchup is the game in Paris, right? So we go from the week 6 match and 18 at 12 p.m. and a few days later, right? Week 7 match game. So this is going to test some test. It's going to test some of the Saints' endurance, right? To be able to do that. So they, go over there and play in Paris against the Steelers. And listen, Steelers more than likely they're going to get Aaron Rodgers back. They have some good pieces on offense as well and defense, and they're going to come to play. It's not going to be an easy matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We get an opportunity DK Metcalf, and they added Pitt wide receiver there. They picked up some more talent in the as well. They added some more pieces on defense. And the Steelers, they want to get a dub in Paris. We want to almost center that dead smack in the middle. Maybe if they put, but I can understand that, being that you paying that international game in France, so you get the bye week to recoup, relax, and then come back later on. So, how do y'all feel about certain flow with it? So we come out of the bye after coming from Paris. We get either one of them, it don't matter. That's going to be back at home in the dome. So but the Paris game, they come us ain't home the Paris game. So we're gonna get that love, all that kind of stuff in Paris. The Browns matchup is intriguing as well because we'll get an opportunity to see Sanders for the first time and see some other people perhaps will moving and grooving, moving forward, because the Browns don't look interested, man. Shador or Deshaun doesn't matter. We got to take care of business. We got to watch out for that boy, that defensive end, Garrett. We got to watch out for him. Y'all know he's a problem child. They got some other pieces that they added up there, but somehow, the Browns can never really truly keep it. Then we meet up with the another second of our NFC South people. We face the Falcons in week 4. We get a shot at home week 10 against the Carolina Panthers. We swept the Panthers last week. We get this game in the dome, week number 10 against the Carolina Panthers. Can we do it again? That the division is up between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Back into that thing last year, got a playoff win. They feeling pretty good about themselves. So, and listen, Carolina had a very solid draft, a very good free agency period. They spent a lot of money in free agency, filling up some spots on their defense. They added some more pieces during the draft for their offense and defense. And they've been, the last 2 years, really building team again. So they've done well with their drafts, just like we've done well. They've done well in free agency, like we've done well. So it seems like a clashing of heads for the division between the Saints and the Carolina Panthers, right? So we don't want to overlook anybody, but Carolina is a team that, even though we swept them last year, they're going to have that on their mind, like we're going to have that on our mind what happened with Atlanta. They're going to come into this with a renewed sense of focus to try to make sure they knock off the Saints and handle business on their end of it. That's what I see happening. And then, of course, you look at week 11, we lead that, and then we go up to Chicago to take on the Bears. So you got Dennis Allen running the defense up there. They added some pieces, offense and defense. Chicago was able to have some good stuff happening for them for the first time in a while. They're riding some high energy as well. We got to go up there in November, almost late November here in Chicago. How does late November in Chicago look? Might be a little snow on the ground, perhaps. We'll see how it all looks, and that in the Cincinnati game might be the worst off weather games that you have, because we'll have both of those in back-to-back weeks. Week 11 against Caleb in the in the Chicago Bears offense. We got to handle that. And then week number 12, we take on Joey B and the Cincinnati Bengals up in their building as well. So November the 22nd at noon, and November the 29th at 12 at noon as well. 2 back-to-back possible snowy weather games, depending on what it is. But we'll see how it all works. The Saints are thick skin. Not really tripping on that because I know for that the resources to run in the damn ball, and that's why to run the football. And the Saints have spent some money on trying to get going. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next one there with those teams, and then we come back home after the meet in Chicago. Bengals on the road. We then travel. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. We got at least 3 or 4 toughies, real toughies. That Green Bay home game, and it's good to see the Saints at home against Green Bay. Like we have to be able to. Now the Who Dat Nation has sold, stepped up and own up at the Dome, and the Saints are starting to really years. The Saints defense, Saints offense and team period, fed off the energy of the Who Dat Nation and now lifting them up. They were able to feed off of that and ride that wave of energy to victory. That in recent years they haven't been able to do. It's been a disconnect in the energy. But perhaps now, with all of that we'll be seeing, it's now coming back. You can feel the energy, it feels really, it's a good energy in the Who Dat Nation. It's a good year for the Who Dat Nation. Drew Brees is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. This great thing with Drew, perhaps entire season with the resilient Saints once again rising back into a weak division with solid free agency and draft and make a move here, and build up. It's one game at a time approach, but they have the pieces properly motivated, properly put into place, should have some success. But that Green Bay game, fam, I'm telling you, that's going to be a toughie. That's going to be a toughie because they come to win. They got talent. Jordan, hell of a quarterback. He's a dual threat guy, pretty accurate. Knows when to move. We have to. And that's a big thing too. Like we talked about in the week 2 matchup against Love. How good are the Saints? And we got Kyler Murray with around with the Falcons. How good Saints defense going to be in covering up or mobile QB threats? That's a big question I have for y'all. That's a question. That's a question that I got for y'all. How good are the Saints defense going to be against the mobile QB threats? Because that'll say a lot about Jordan Love. The guy has a grasp of the Cisco floor, and they're doing positive stuff up there. All right, so moving on to and then of course that one home game against the Green Bay Packers. Then we head on to the Carolina Panthers and take care of business with them. So you have December the 6th at noon, kickoff time, and then the next week, December the 13th at noon, we finish off the two game regular season against Carolina. Now we faced them in week number 10 in the Dome. We got them in the building 9, week number 14. Always tough to play. I really do think that the Carolina Panthers games coming down I think it'll come down to us and them in terms of the NFC South. That's just my opinion. And we got to take care of business. And then December the 20th, 12 p.m. kickoff time against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We go to their building for the first match with them. They got going on. Is it Faker Mayfield or Baker Mayfield? Which one are we going to be seeing in the Tampa Bay uniform? We're playing way late in the year, so this is going to be an interesting matchup with a month worth of games remaining. You know, with Tampa Bay, that could be a crucial game depending on how they're dealing with the rest of the teams, how they're dealing with the Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. You know, it's going to be interesting to see that matchup. But having two back-to-back NFC South rival games, with Carolina on the 13th and then Tampa Bay on the 20th, we can't slip here. We got to be able to handle up. Then the Saints with two more home games remaining. They have a week to the desert on the 7th, 2 days after Christmas. The Saints travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals, kind of a team trying to work their way up. The other LaFleur brother is the is the head coach out there. Now it's not Matt running Green Bay, and the other brother LaFleur. The other LaFleur was named the coach out there with the Cardinals, and we'll have to go out to their building and take care of business there. They're still in like a build mode. We kind of thinking that they're probably trying to wait to get a quarterback next year. They might be the team that land up with Archman, and if he comes out next year, that could be the team they're anticipating that being a lot better QB draft. And that's pretty much Arizona trying to get through the season. They got Jacoby Brissett there. He wants more money. They did draft a little quarterback to play there, but nobody expected much out of Arizona. But we still do not underestimate opponents, no matter who they are. We have to take care of business, right? Never underestimate. Then we go week 17. We finish off the matchups with the Falcons. Remember, we had them on Monday Night Football. Saints have the night football matchup and the Paris games in terms of featured matchups right there. Of course, some of these later games could change and flip when they do their little scheduling thing, when they find better matchups. This could happen later on in the year, but we'll take on the Falcons in week 17. This is the year will turn over where it'll be a couple days into 2027. You can believe that, how fast this year is running, right? Crazy how fast this year is running, man. In a couple of months, we'll be back to football, fam. You know, it will be back to football. Time is, man. My oldest son, Shough, man, he graduated, fam, from high school recently. Isn't that crazy, fam? The time is moving. Kids are graduate. Let me give him, some love on that. That little dude graduated. And my youngest boy, he will be graduating next year. Y'all remember them little guys on the screen, fam? See, they grew up with y'all. You remember me doing shows, and then they'll pop up, lean on my shoulder. They were little guys. Man, they grew up with the mighty Who Dat Nation. Let me tell you, man, it is unbelievable. People tell you all about the children, all this kind of stuff, and family. Man, listen, time is so different now. The same. This just moving so fast right now, fam. Look at your calendar. In 2.5 months, you're going to be ready for NFL football again, with the Saints getting close to. The time is really moving. All right, but outside of the Falcons matchup, man, that'll be the 3rd day of January of 2027. Saints coming, starting that year. And could this be a situation where we knock the Falcons out of here and sweep them back and kind of move forward into some stuff? Now, things could change in that matchup. You could possibly have Michael Penix Jr. back by that time, right? We have Tua. More than likely, it's a slim possibility he'll be ready for that week 4 matchup on Monday night. It might be Tua. But by the week 17 matchup on January the 3rd of 2027, I definitely think Michael Penix Jr. would probably be there instead. And that's why we also would need the defense to be able to take care of business. And then, of course, the final matchup is to be determined with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We close out the schedule with the Bucs. We played them in week 15, and then three games later we play them in week 18 to close out the NFL schedule at home. So getting the Falcons in week 17 on the road in a building and then coming home for the Buccaneers, close out the season in the dome, the regular season in the dome. I know with that being said, here are my thoughts. Now, I'm this down, man. Let me lay this down to the family members. That's my internet. Like I said, I'm traveling right now. I'm in West Texas. But let me say this. They say that this is the second easiest schedule according to last year's numbers, right? Which the Minnesota, well, not the Minnesota, New England Patriots were able to benefit from that along with good health, right? They were able to ride that wave into it. But even though they say that, it does not feel that way. If you're looking at the schedule, the Detroit Lions is not a pushover. The Baltimore Ravens is not a pushover. The Minnesota Vikings will be tough despite the fact that they are up and down. J.J. McCarthy had his issues, but Kyler Murray is a much better quarterback, and he has weapons. And if he can be protected and stay healthy, you can have success with him. The Giants, how different are they going to look? Now, I'm more concerned about the Detroit Lions, Ravens. These are teams with established quarterbacks that have an offense that they can run through. The Week 4 matchup against the Falcons, they have to install whatever Stefanski's trying to do right there. So there's going to be a period where they're trying to figure stuff out. Same as the Raiders as well. But you go against the Lions, they had Coach Campbell. They're established. Baltimore, even though they are switching head coaches, we'll see what they got going on there as well. That's going to be interesting to see what Baltimore got going on as well. Come to think about it. The Steelers matchup, Tomlin is gone. They got a new Mike McCarthy's down there in Baltimore with the Pittsburgh Steelers rather, and that's going to be interesting. But I'm not really concerned on those games later on. I think the Saints will have a rhythm there, but the Baltimore and the Detroit game at weeks 1 and 2 on the road are very interesting. Because truth be told, those games can go either way, depending on if you come to play or not. Come on now, everybody. Those two games, Detroit's not a pushover, and that's in their building. Baltimore is also in their building. Those two games, we got to come to play early. Got to be ready. So right out of the gate, we don't get a cupcake like we'll get an Arizona Cardinal team or some cupcake or the Raiders. If we had the Raiders in week 1, that we know that they still trying to figure it out. We don't have cupcakes out of the gate. The first 2 weeks are on the road against good teams that we'll have to take apart or take down. We got to figure it out and beat them and make less mistakes than they do, right? Now, the way the bye is positioned, I'm cool with the bye because it follows the international game, which is going to be a tough, right? And then it flows into the Cleveland Browns matchup. Don't overlook them. Cincinnati game. I mean Carolina game is going to be interesting. Those are 2 home games. But the bottom line is, you the New Orleans Saints, you want to take care of business at home. You want to win at home, and you got to beat those teams that people anticipating and struggling, because Detroit, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, we don't get out of Cincinnati. Even if Joe Burrow is there, he's dealing with a lot of injuries. We know Chicago is a team that has been playing a lot better ball up in Chicago. They've been playing really confident lately. They've won some games, so they're feeling pretty good. But I don't get that feeling like people saying, man, we got the second easiest schedule. I don't see it, fam. Not the Raiders. I see the Browns on here. I see the Cardinals. But all these other teams, it's going to be a fight. This is a fight. Second easy schedule. You know what? This is something. This to me is a tough schedule for the Saints. They have to be. So, like I said, I'm glad it's just what it is. I just really happy that the New Orleans Saints did what they did this draft. They did what they did in free agency, right? I knew they were trying to go the players that they didn't get, but I know it's a work in progress, and I just appreciate what they got going on, fam. I really do, because I see they trying to do something. And I say it like this: in previous administrations, Isaiah Foskey will still be on the team. Nick Saldiveri will still be on the team. certain non-productive players will be positioned. You still be protecting Cesar Ruiz. They weren't even looking at that stuff. Kellen Moore runs this Saint team like me or you do. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do and where he needs to go. We've been saying it for a long time that the Saints' internal offensive line, the guards, they need to be fixed. And that's what he did. Spent money on David Edwards, drafted Jeremiah Wright to push Ruiz. Ruiz is also a guy that's feeling like, hey, man, they don't think I can do it. Regardless of how he thinks about that, I'm still cool with the fact that he's challenging himself to be better. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with him as long as he challenging himself, to do better. Him working with Teron Armstead, trying to fix his game. We might see a newer, improved Ruiz, but he only got 2 years left on his contract. And I think Jeremiah Wright is the future. Bottom line. Nonetheless, it's an improvement with the black and gold in the areas they need to improve in. The Travis A-Chain signing, getting him as the number one feature back. And, and having him with AK-41, adding Ty Chandler, another speedster, here as well with Devin Neal and others. The infusion of the wide receivers, right? We talked about them, the 3 wide receivers the Saints drafted. All of the help they added to the special teams. Let us not forget the special team, that nation. The special teams also have added this. All of those people that the Saints did, in the last 3 picks in the draft. Well, you talking about even with the Barion Brown and the picks of guys like Styles and Hall and all these guys. A lot of these are people that are going to help you from a special team standpoint, right? Contributors. And they will help you get faster on special teams. That's one thing that I realized by the Saints. The order of the day was to get bigger and faster on both sides of the football. That's what they did offensively. Was the tight end that they drafted, and then defensively, those cornerbacks drafted, those defensive backs, those guys are 6 feet tall guys, and even though nobody's as fast as Styles, Lorenzo Styles Jr., he's a 6'1" cornerback who Saints are going to use in their secondary some kind of way. Undrafted chart says in the nickel position. We'll see. Another thing to think about. That I'm not. You don't have hard speed, but if you're really good over 13 pass deflections, I think he was like one of the tops in the nation. The fact that he ran like a 4.59 or something like, so he's on your back. He's one of the about they added Shipley to compete with Charlie Smith in the kicking. Texas internet. All right, peoples. I'm that this is crappy West Texas internet. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all just being patient with me, man. Trying to do this broadcast. What's up, Tasha? Shout out to Tasha. I'm back. Y'all put one in the. If y'all can hear me pretty good, man, put one in the chat. But yeah, this is the in the slightest see this schedule as easy. I do not. Now we do have some simple matchups here that could be easy. The Raiders matchup, the Cardinals, stuff like that. But seeing teams like Detroit and Baltimore and their buildings, us, the Falcons after them sweeping us last year, having a historical opponent like the Vikings, who we don't like on our schedule, a tough match. The Steelers, that's in Paris. The Green Bay matchup at home is going to be another tough affair. The rival matchups against Carolina and Tampa Bay. I do not view this schedule as easy. I think this is a tough schedule, but I think the Saints are well equipped based on the moves that they're making going forward. And I really do appreciate the emphasis on getting the offense to be more aggressive from a vertical standpoint. I can appreciate that much, right? I really appreciate that. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, it's not Beth. Shout out to Beth. Beth says it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy at all. They said the second easy in terms of man, fam. Y'all look at the schedule. The schedule's not easy. It's not an easy schedule. Not at all. They're going to be tested in the schedule. I think I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Long as we can run the football and run our play action and get these wide receivers vertical, fam, to take the roofs off, create space. As long as we can create space, we got a chance. Because we're not just counting on them. Remember, Tyler Shough is a part of the running attack too. Even though we don't want to see him run that much, but there will be designed plays where Tyler Shough will run the football. When Tyler Shough doesn't see something that he likes, he's going to take off. He's a part of the running attack too. So when you have a running quarterback and Travis Etienne and all these other guys and the protection that they'll be afforded him, the Saints are it's up their back to being balanced. But we have the edge to spark the offense and take possession of the game. Having our special teams together, the kicker, spending all that money on the punter. See, a lot of people are going to really appreciate Ryan Wright when the time comes. Him being able to punt that ball. That guy has a big foot, a big leg, the hang time the punt really help the coverage units, the Saints. So having that advantage of special teams and them to improve all three levels of it puts them in a position they can be better coming up for the upcoming season. And that's the schedule, but we won't be able to easy to beat either. That's why Sean's saying 13-4. All right, Sean's saying 13-4, man. That's a big jump from 6. I'm pretty level-headed, man. For him saying 13-4, interesting. What's Yep. So that's it. Who's the 4 losses? Yeah, I know I'm going in and out. I'm going in. I know T Mama. I'm about to end it up. Ross says he says I like 2 on the road in the first 2 weeks, Lions on the road, then the Ravens on the road. After that, he says, look at us after week 8. By week 10 to 10 weeks 10 15 is going to be brutal. I know that's what I was saying about the Packers game. Yeah, that's Horizon. It's not Verizon, it's Horizon. I know, fam. I'm doing my best over here. I appreciate y'all standing by. But nonetheless, let me get on up out of here before it drop me again. Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being on stream with y'all patience. I really do appreciate that. Do me a service by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. By the way, the poll question that I had put up for the family members, how many wins do the Saints get this season? According to the poll, just to end out on the poll, how many wins do we get? 7 to 9 games or 10 games or more. Percent of the pollers says 10 games or more. 38% says 7 to 9 games. 6% says 4 to 6 games, and only 1% believe the Saints will win 1 to 3 games. So that is also good as well. What's up, Poppy? Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you. Much love to you, Queen T Mama. Much love. All right, yeah, yeah. This is gonna it's gonna be interesting, man, to say the least, man. Big Nick says 7 to 9 games. Okay, thank you, Nick. But that's the difference. Remember, last year the Saints went from what was it? They had 6 wins last year. To go from 6 to 9, that's a 3 game boost. And like I said, it's a tough schedule. It's not a brutal schedule, but it depends on where we are in terms of our offense and defense, our balance. When we go against teams like Green Bay, Green Bay is anticipated to be a playoff team. Detroit could be a playoff team. Baltimore's a playoff team. So we do have some tough matchups along the way. Plus, we have to deal with the Steelers, who are a playoff team. Chicago's a playoff team. You know, you got playoff teams mixed in there along with the division rival, which makes it very interesting. So you got easy teams here and there. So there's an opportunity to be lulled to sleep by less superior teams, if y'all know what I mean. So it's like they got good teams mixed in with, it's like a up and down effect. How, the yo-yo effect. You play this team, this good team, this playoff team this week, and then you go and play the Browns next week. You come in, effect. How do they deal with that? It's going to test us here, man. So we'll see how it all goes as well. All right, with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to get on out of here. Listen, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back next probably with a clearer internet, man, hopefully, so I could be able to rap at y'all, man, on some more stuff. So with that being said, I'm on out of here, man. The schedule is a very interesting schedule. Y'all put y'all thoughts in the comment section. Let me know as well as we get rid of it in. And y'all let me know in the comment section when when the replaying game steps in, how y'all feel about the Saints. I'm out. Much love, peace, and who that too.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at